Greetings, CATDC. We're just ready to begin day 2 of Summer Institute, Ensuring Organizational Resilience with the Sea Change team. And I've invited participants Corbett Simons, Director of Teaching and Learning and Innovation at the Town School, and Jennifer Liu, Director of Teacher Development and Strategic Initiatives, also from the Town School, to talk with us a bit about their learning so far, especially coming on the heels of their participation in creating cultures of empowered thinking and learning with Ron Richart and Mark Church, as well as 66 other educators, 11 of them also from the Town School. So thank you so much for coming, Jennifer and Corbett. It's great to see you.
Yeah, great to see you.
And we've seen a lot of each other this week. Wasn't graduation just on Friday? I'm so impressed that you found, last Friday, that you found the energy and carved out the time for these days of professional learning, especially after such a demanding year. I mean, what drew you to these two programs?
Well, our intention with the Cultures of Thinking was to participate last year. And so that had been a part of our plan as a school. So we're excited that we were able to do it this year. And it's a really wonderful way to incorporate teachers K through 8. Everybody has an access point. And I think in thinking about this year as an admin team, we knew that reflecting on the year would be really important, and we planned for that intentionally in our closing meeting. And so when organizational resilience came up on the CATDC offerings, Corbett and I both talked about how this would be really helpful for our own learning and to be able to take this learning and continue with it in the fall with our faculty and staff.
Yeah, and all I would add in is that we're all familiar with the head, hands, and heart model, right? And so that it was a perfect for me, and I think for us, a combination of the head around the thinking routines, the sort of the cognitive piece, the heart piece around resilience, so that we can then get into the hands part of our own development, as a community moving forward into next year.
Great. And I just want to take this moment to thank you because you've both been involved with CATDC for such a long time, participating and even facilitating workshops, Corbett leading our teacher leader group way back in the day, 2004 and 5, and Jennifer leading this year ongoing coaching group with Julie Strong from FAIS. Just what was most impactful to you about joining this group of educators virtually? This program got canceled last year because of the pandemic. It was put on, or we were thinking about it, a celebration for 20 years of CATDC's long history and Ron Richart's role with us in Project Zero and our first ever Summer Institute. What was most impactful to you about participating in creating cultures of empowered thinking and learning program?
Yeah, I think for me that we talk a lot about creating deep thinking, right? And so leveraging the thinking routines to do that. And then also, I work mostly with teachers directly. And when you think about, there are those of us, and I'm in this camp of, who kind of like the heady ideas and thinking about big picture things. Well, these thinking routines can ground you in some structure. Or even with the younger guys, where like kindergarten, first graders, they can do deep thinking. And the thinking routines allow those structures for teachers to help sort of elicit that thinking, right? So it just, for me, it was as advertised, and just so many great ideas about how we can do that and how we can focus on those sorts of structures for our boys moving forward.
And I agree with what Corbett has said, and I would just echo the idea of helping teachers internalize these practices. And because we have the new Teacher Institute at Town, making these practices foundational to an early career educator's approach to teaching, so that it's not something you learn later on in your career, but this should be part of essential practices as a teacher. So I thought that being able to practice that with other educators shows teachers that, this is helpful for adult learners as well as students.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to bringing some of those routines into my work with facilitators and our staff. So how has it been so far being with other school leaders in this process of reflection and planning for recovery with the Sea Change team? I know we're just getting ready for day 2, but what are some of your thoughts or impressions so far?
I think it's been such a supportive community where I've been able to find a lot of resonance with what other people have been sharing about their experience. And I think that is such a key part of reflecting with a group of people, especially coming off of this year. And taking the time to acknowledge that it's been a hard year. I think the piece about the paradox of holding on to both needing to plan forward, but also need to be present in what we're experiencing has been really powerful too. And just naming grief as something that we're all experiencing and will continue to experience. And so having that safe space to talk about that in an intentional way has been really powerful for me.
That's great to hear.
Yeah, I would echo that. Just the ability to just take a moment for both ourselves and then ultimately for our communities when we, if we can be a little more grounded ourselves, and even including learning the piece around like the amygdala, right, is imprinting some stress that we're going to carry forward. And so it's going to be, I think what was most helpful was having conversation with folks about the fact that this resilience journey is going to be through next year and into the following. And speaking of the paradox, that's okay. That's all right. And in fact, there are structures and there are tools and methods that we can use to be mindful and plan for that, both for ourselves as individuals, as well as, leaders in our communities.
No, that's great. Yeah, so different tools and strategies for teachers, for leaders, and that's what CATDC is all about, is bringing educators together and providing them opportunity to gather and gain these tools. Just for a moment, what are you both looking forward to most this summer? We are on the cusp of summer here, so.
I'm looking forward to just actually being able to spend time with family and friends in the same physical space.
Absolutely.
I haven't really had a chance to do much of that, and now that things are opening up, I've been able to do that, and that's been great.
Yeah, I hit the road tomorrow. In the car, heading out, and I could tell you where I'm going, but I don't know if that's as important as just the fact that I'm getting to go out. Right. That makes me happy.
With summer road trips and family and friends, what could be better? Well, thank you both so much for taking this time. I'll see you very soon on Zoom.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa. It's always great to work with the CATDC.
Thanks. And to all the CATDC community, happy Juneteenth, happy Father's Day, and most of all, happy summer. Thank you.